The last video that I posted dealt with a dream that I had on the 21st of January about the U.S.-Mexico border. There was a succession of plants that had weapons underneath. There was one of the plants, instead of a plant, it was a ribbed icon that represented our fractious wall. And there was a conversation that existed from Afghanistan to the Middle East that had something to do with the weapons that we left behind, and the Biden administration is complicit in this. That was the dream. You can go back and see it. I want to tell you about something that I'm working on. At the end of that video, it was a call to prayer, and people all over the nation are praying. But I believe one prayer that's been answered as far as exposure and further enlightenment on this is, a few days ago, Tucker Carlson posted an interview that he did with Brett Weinstein. Brett Weinstein had been down to the Darien Gap, that huge swath of virtually impenetrable jungle between Colombia and Panama, and then you go up through Panama and into Mexico, and then you participate in the invasion. And we are suffering an invasion. But what Brett Weinstein found out when he went on this excursion with Michael Yon was they went to several of the, camps where people would stay for a day or two, rest up, and then continue their dangerous journey through the Darien Gap. But there was one camp, San Vicente, that they were not allowed to go in and talk to anybody. They were not even allowed to photograph it. They did, but they had to do so covertly. And that camp was a Chinese camp. There might have been a few women, but it was like virtually all military-aged Chinese males. Now, if the Chinese males would come out of the camp and maybe go to, there can't be a lot of shops, but if they would go down to the local banana hut or whatever, Michael Yon was talking to, and here's the thing, these Chinese males, if you encountered them outside the camp, were hostile and secretive. And deceitful. One guy tried to pose himself as a Korean, but Michael Yon spoke Chinese and got the guy to speak Chinese, so he outed himself. And so I'm going to include in this little talk, I'm going to include just one segment. I've pulled about 6 different clips from this interview and some other stuff for a piece that I'm putting together. But folks, when you have military-aged Chinese males in a secretive camp that lie about what they're doing, it's very, 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 very concerning. And also, we found out that there's a bridge that's being built to get into the Darien Gap. But at this point, it would be absolutely a bridge to nowhere unless somebody had further designs for that bridge. And when Ann Vandersteel posted video about this bridge, it blew up on the internet, and the Panamanian population was freaked out because they didn't know about it. So be watching for that episode, but I'm telling you, we need to pray. Listen, we don't need to be afraid, but we need to pray, pray, pray. This is a full-scale, all-out invasion. There's 4 parts to this. 1, all of the elements have to interact with the cartels. And when you interact with the cartel, you are entering into covenant with a very evil organization, and there's spiritual implications for that. The biggest part of the invasion are the economic opportunists, and I don't give them a pass, but I won't go into that right now. But that group is so large that it hides 2 other elements. The Islamic jihadists. I just read an article that the Denver police, they won't say so, but they have arrested 50 Al-Qaeda members over the last few months.
We've arrested, the Denver police in Denver has arrested over 50 Al-Qaeda members in the last 2 months.
And then the third element that hides itself within the larger illegal invasion mass horde is this Chinese stealth combatant. So there's plenty to pray about. I believe that this, I don't know when Tucker scheduled that interview, but no matter, it was an answer to prayer. Folks, this is an invasion. We need to absolutely resist the left-right dynamic, absolutely resist the mainstream narrative on it. This is not a matter of fixing border policy or changing law. We have everything in place to stop this. The regime doesn't want to stop it. It's not about funding and not about anything. It's about the safety or the potential overthrow of our nation. I'll have more later. We'll talk to you. Bye.
What I was going to tell you about the fact that this migration doesn't appear to me to be just one thing is that we went to another camp called San Vicente. And everything in San Vicente is different than it was at Canaan Mambria. San Vicente, first of all, it's not a town. This is a camp that is built as a transit camp. It's built of containers and various objects to house people. And it is almost entirely Chinese. Now, there were Chinese folks. Chinese.
That's a long way from China.
It sure is. And what's more, in this camp, the rule that you're able to go in and walk around and talk to people is not in evidence. The Senafront, the Panamanian Border Control, actually forbid us to go into the camp. So we had to stay on the outside of it. We were also forbidden to photograph it. So what photographs we have were taken covertly.